I grew up in the UK. Sailing wasn't a big option for me and my family. Came to Australia, saw the beautiful waterways of Sydney Harbour, fell in love with the idea of boating. But apart from doing the odd sail with some friends, I really never got serious about it until just after 2000. And then I finally decided maybe if I was going to get serious about this thing, I needed to get some lessons. So in 2003, I took myself off for some sailing lessons, and then I got totally hooked. I got so in love with the whole concept of sailing and spending the time on the water. I just wanted to learn. I got into racing. I got into inshore racing. Then I got into offshore racing, Lord Howe Island races, Coffs Harbour races, Sydney to Hobart. I got qualified as a Yachting Australia sailing instructor, started to teach other people to sail. I just got consumed by the whole concept and idea of sailing. When I was young, I loved reading Swallows and Amazons and all the tales of how they went out sailing. And I think that probably was my first taste of sailing and my first sense of how much fun this could be and how exciting it could be. And really it's just grown from then. My very first boat was an East Coast 31. They were made in Gosford. It was a 26-year-old boat when we bought her. She'd just been fully renovated. We kept her up on Pittwater with the family, and we had 2 young kids in those days, my wife and I. We had many a fantastic trip on her. It was a bit, my recollections of when I was a child caravanning came back to mind, because at night there was this whole process you had to do to convert the boat to beds and put the table down and create the bed here and move this and move that. But we had so much fun on it and spent so much time out on the water. Probably for me one of the most magical times. I really love, if I can, to be out on the water and wake up on the boat. I loved that first time when you just come up the companionway and walk out onto the deck. The water's totally serene and placid, and it's just such a beautiful way to start the day. I started racing doing the Twilight races on Pittwater, having had some lessons and learnt the fundamentals, if you like, of sailing. I really was keen and eager to learn how to make the boat go faster, how to get from A to B quicker. So I hopped onto a boat doing the Twilight racing. To start with, I pretty much sat on the boat. It was a different language going on around me. What are these guys talking about? What are they doing? Slowly but surely, I had some really good skipper and crew. They sort of got me more and more involved, let me make my mistakes, and there were plenty of those. There still are. As I learned to trim the boat and how to get the boat to perform better. I guess in terms of highlights, doing the Sydney to Hobart is probably one that everyone remembers. It was, they say, a tick in the box, take that off the bucket list. That was amazing. I really enjoyed doing that. 2013, I did that. I've done 2 Lord Howe Island races, and they've been fantastic, because one of the most magical things has been, it's just happened that each time we've arrived at Lord Howe Island at sunrise. And it is really a magical experience when Lord Howe Island just appears out of nowhere in the open ocean and just slowly materializes before you as the sun rises. So that's been exciting. I've done Coffs races with my own boat. So for a number of years, I had my own racing boat. I had a Beneteau First 44.7, and we campaigned it up and down. We did Sydney regattas, we did the Twilight races, we did Coffs Harbour races. We took it up and did Hamilton Island Race Week, which is a sensational time. The reason I came to Australia was I transferred with the company I worked with in those days, and I was initially only here for 2 years, and I was the typical put on a suit every day, suit and tie, went to work, and the thought or ideas then of getting out on the water and sailing were way in the distance. And even so, when I first started sailing, I still kept, by then I set up my own companies and businesses. I had a consulting and training company. I was still running that full time, and sailing, if you like, was a hobby. In 2009, I started a company called Sailtime here in Australia, which is a membership-based shared economy, we call it today. It wasn't known as that in 2009. It's where people share the use of a boat. American company. I took the license here in Australia. But even so, that was still a pastime. And then a little over 3 years ago, the opportunity came my way to become the Beneteau importer in New South Wales. The then importer, who'd been doing it for many years, was looking to retire. And I just thought, what a fantastic opportunity. What would be better than to spend all day, every day out on the water, just as they say, messing about in boats. So I did. I took the opportunity to buy the business, started up Flagstaff Marine as the company to be the importer. We initially just had sailing boats, but then from there we've then now taken on the dealership for inboard powerboats, and most recently we've just added Monte Carlo, the luxury upmarket powerboats that Beneteau make. You know, I consider that we're very fortunate to be in the business we are and the industry we are, and we've tried to find ways that we can give back. One of the ways we do that is through the Beneteau Regatta, where we run a silent auction, and through the generosity of the owners and their crew who come and participate, we raise money to give to, in this case, Mercy Ships. Mercy Ships is a, if you haven't seen or read about it, I'd encourage you to Google it, Mercy Ships. They're a mobile hospital that operates in around Africa and provides top-of-the-line medical services, the whole suite of services, to places that are quite remote and otherwise the people wouldn't have access to those kind of services. Last year we raised over $7,000 that we were able to give to them. We support a number of other charities. Sailors with Disabilities is one that we're a strong supporter of. We make our boats available for them. I sailed in their regatta just last week. We put 3 boats in, and they get sponsors for the boat. That money goes directly to Sailors with Disability. We take a bunch of corporates who very generously donated to the cause out, and we all have a great day on the harbour. So for us, yes, finding ways in which we can support good causes, and naturally we tend to navigate towards those associated with the water, is something we're always looking for. For families spending time together, we have some fabulous memories. My kids and I have now got 4 kids, and at various times we've all been away together. There's a lot of fun having wife and I and all 4 kids. We have some amazing memories of times we spent together. If you're into sailing, it's very active, there's lots to do. We choose some great locations as to where you want to go. You can be swimming, you can be diving, you can be snorkeling. You can just be chilling, laid back with a book and a drink. It's a magical time, and something that if anything, I wish I'd done earlier in my life, but I'm really pleased that I'm doing it now. I absolutely love sailing at night on a moonlit night across a dark sea. Your senses are so heightened. You can't see the sails in the traditional sense, so you have to feel the boat. You have to feel how she's trimmed and how she's performing. So everything is just that much more heightened and alert. When you do Lord Howe, you'll often find yourself at night on an open ocean and there's not a single light around you at all of another boat. You know they're out there somewhere, but you can't see them. So you feel as though it's just you and the ocean, and you've got the ocean entirely to yourself. When you think about boat ownership and purchasing a boat, probably with the exception of buying a house of some kind or investment property, it's the next most significant purchase that someone will make in their life. And it becomes a very significant part of their life. And we recognise how important it is that we are there on hand to help them whenever they have a need or a concern or an issue. It could be something simple, or it might be that they're looking to venture further afield and they're looking for some more training, or they want to upgrade some of the equipment. So we try and stay in contact literally on a day-to-day basis if necessary with our owners. We get them together for regattas a couple of times a year. With our motorboat owners, we do rallies where we all meet up and spend time together. We make sure that we've got strong after-sales service and support for them. With some of our owners, we provide a whole suite of maintenance for them. With other of our owners, we're just there as advisors, just someone to bounce ideas off of. But yes, that whole community part, that whole interrelationship, it is a very intimate relationship between us and our customers because of the nature of the product that we sell them.